how much abundance of luxury do you have? It's incredible. Which is why we can't afford the same complacency here. If America survives, Israel and the rest of Europe has a chance. The rest of Europe does not have a chance on its own, the same way it did during World War II. America is essential for the survival of freedom, and people need to understand that it is the anomaly to live this way. It is the absolute anomaly to live with the luxuries that we have, with all of the luxuries I mentioned, the physical luxuries, the inventions we've made, and the virtues and the values that we hold dear but seem to take for granted. So, and I firmly believe that what people want, whether you're in Western society or a third world country or even an Islamic state, it doesn't matter where. I really firmly believe that what people want more than anything is security.
That's true.
Some sort of certainty about their imminent future, some sort of certainty about their safety, security on a wide definition of that one. And we in the West, because we have such luxury societies, we have our minds have been framed to the point where it seems that the only form of security we need is financial security. Like the rest, the number one priority, preservation of life, is that's taken care of for us. We just need to focus on our career paths. But that's not the case at all. But as I said, it's the illusion of this peace and this comfort and peace times that has created this belief and this culture of career focus, material focus, rather than the gratitude that we see and are thankful for across Israel. Whether it's intentional or not, whether it's forced upon us by our millennium trauma and being surrounded by enemies that want to kill us. But maybe that's a necessary reminder. Is that really the necessary reminder that the West needs to wake up from the daydreams of the luxuries that we have today? So I've thrown a lot of information.
I was going to ask about Torah values, because everything that you mentioned, that like gratitude, for example, all of those things that help us be happy are actually grounded in Torah. But do you feel like people in Israel, like living in a more secular society, feel that that's
Torah values?
Yeah.
So I grew up traditions, so I didn't pay attention. But whether I liked it or not, I learned the values. Whether it was intentional or not, or I paid attention or not, I did somewhat learn the values.
Sit in the chair.
In Israel, Israel's very much shaped by Jewish values, naturally. Same way the West is. People do their Christian values, they come from one place and one note, plus receivables. But we in Israel, regardless of the large secular culture, I believe is very much shaped by Torah values. And that brings me on to, I've thrown a lot of information at you. It's neat to have a call to action. And that's to use quote from the Torah. Lo lefachad kal. First of all, and we've heard the song Lo lefachad kal. The most important thing is not to be afraid at all. It's the moment we start becoming fearful is the moment we paralyze ourselves.
That's true.
Only two valid responses to an existential threat: fight or flight. And in some of the scenarios you might have seen me getting into on camera, you do a bit of fighting so that you create a window for the flight sort of thing. But as Jews, we have two options. We stay and we're proud and we fight for our existence and our...
So, are you okay with this being live streamed?
Sure, I'm live streaming as well.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks.
Sorry, man.
So as Jews, we have only two options faced with an existential threat. We have flight, which is aliyah, or fight. And we don't have the option to be stuck in the middle. We were stuck in the middle in the 1930s. We okay? I think we're all good.
I think somebody else is on.
That's okay. It's absolutely fine. Yeah. We were stuck in the middle of the fight and flight in the 1930s, and I put that down to pretty much one thing: comfort. Comfort is the rose-tinted glasses of Western society. As Jews, we thought we were German Jews, not Jews living in Germany. Why is it that it's just the
They
Jewish
were saying something to me.
that forgets the fact that they're Jewish first? They're called Afro-Americans, not American Africans, for a reason. They don't forget they're from. How do we forget or try to leave behind, but also keep some traditions and as if it's not connected to where we're from or our ancestry? How could we be so comfortable and so complacent to forget that critical fact? So there's fight or flight, and there's comfort, and there's the desire and desperate urge, which we seem to have to be accepted, that can hold us in the freeze. And in America, we still have the time for the fight. And it's our responsibility as all of the goyim, as the light onto the nations, to set the example with the fight. And as I said, we had a big stake in the foundations of this nation. We have to show people that, first of all, our culture needs a massive change of direction. We're obsessed with all of the wrong things as we've discussed today. And we need pretty much one thing. I said that the difficult work is the introspection. Why are we not strong, rather than focusing outward?
Can you talk to us real quick?
Yeah.
He's okay to live stream.
Oh, yeah. No, we just want to talk to you real quick. You're good. Continue.
Thank you.
I don't know if I'm in trouble.
No, you're not in trouble.
No, you're just, I just want to know who you are because I didn't see you coming in, that's all.
Oh, yeah. I'm
Yeah.
John Denisio. I'm Chestermcfly online.
Chestermcfly?
Yeah, I'm an Italian Jew.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, I just want to know what the purpose of you're making people
I-
so uncomfortable. With
I
how you
wasn't
roll.
filming nobody. I was just listening to him and filming him going live. I thought it'd be
that's,
cool.
That's all right.
Yeah.
So, it's public area, you can film.
Yeah.
People just were concerned that it was something else.
No, man, I'm a Jew like him, man.
No, look, we just got here, right?
Yeah,
So I'm just trying to get the facts,
I got you.
right? So you're done with the facts?
Yeah,
That's what it. That's what it is,
Yeah.
right?
I got
So, you
you.
know, so when someone comes telling me, oh, hey, this person's doing this act suspicious, filming it, that's a public event. It's also a Jewish event.
Yeah, but I'm Jewish.
I understand that, but did I know that before I talked to you?
I got you.
So it's called investigating, right? So you gotta just go see what's up.
I
So
got you.
you can go and have a film, all right?
All right.
But if they do ask you to leave,
Yeah, I asked, to come here. I hit up Sammy. I talked to him online.
oh, okay.
Who did you talk to?
Sammy.
The speaker?
Yeah,
Okay.
I know. I'm Jewish.
That's cool. That's okay. You know what? With the state of the world these days, everyone's on very like.
No, I get that. I get that.
You know what I'm saying?
Obviously, so like I said, I don't know who you are.
What's your
My
name?
name's Sam.
I'm John Denisio, but on here,
Jonathan
Jonathan Denisio. Yeah.
Denisio.
I'm Italian. I'm an Italian Jew.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
You converted?
No, I had a bar mitzvah. My mom's Jewish.
Your mom's Jewish. That's
Yeah.
cool. What, you grew up in Philly?
I grew
Looks like it.
Yeah, I grew up Overbrook and then like Broomall and then
Oh, yeah.
now I live in Yaden.
Where you live?
Yaden.
Oh, where's that?
It's like Upper Darby.
Okay, yeah.
All right. Well, you can go back to your activities.
That's cool.
We just want to make sure everything's all right. All right.
All right.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
You're not here to cause any trouble?
I'm a Jew.
Okay. That's all right. Benjamin Davis.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet
Okay,
you,
sorry,
too.
you know, we have to, these days there's always problems everywhere, I'm sure you're aware.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay.
So no, I'm Jewish, yo.
That's what's missing. It's first of all, what I wanted to do with that was to show people just where Western society is headed and just how far it's gone. And I will prove it.
I am circumcised.
A lynch mob attacking in less than 2 minutes. And two, I wanted to show people that courage is essential and that it doesn't always end in sorrow for us. We're so obsessed with people, there's Jews that have become famous for being beaten up. That can't be the Jewish story. That can't be the story of Western society. And as I said, as we are the light unto the nations, we cannot accept this weakness and this complacency. So it falls on us as individuals to ask ourselves the difficult questions. So, so I'm going to finish on. Essentially, you need to look at everyone needs to look at themselves in the mirror and say, am I grateful for what I have? And am I courageous in everything I do?
So do you think that the courageousness component is a big part of why Israel is such a happy place to be? Because you have to have courage to live there, right? It's central component, it's foundational just to surviving. Maybe that's a stepping stone.
Absolutely. So in Israel, we have air conditioning, we have food on order, we have most of the luxuries, pretty much apart from Amazon Prime. Pretty much, we have everything. So it's not next day for anything. So it's not established. I know, right? So we have all of the luxuries that have made us so complacent in the West. But we have that one other factor, which is the responsibility to be courageous, the responsibility to be strong, and all the training you've got to be put through to do your army service, and to be a formidable individual. Because the Jews have never had the luxury of numbers, not even in Israel. It's more Jews in America than in Israel. We don't have the luxury for numbers, so every individual has to be formidable in their own way. And everyone has their role.
100%.
Not everyone has to be a fighter. Everyone has to be formidable and courageous. Absolutely.
Oh, because I'm leaning. I'm like ultra zoomed in, so it catches everything.
She's pretty courageous, but she's often told not to be friendly and to not be the one to, speak up. So at what age do you think is the right age to start teaching this, to be courageous and to speak up?
Age 0.
I agree.
People tell you how to keep our head down and not talk.
Not to not talk, but to be nice to your friends.
If they're not nice to you, I'd be nice to them.
In the West, that's why Israelis come across as so damn rude. Because they're not afraid of conflict. We are taught here in the West, everything is rainbows and clouds. And if you are going to have any sort of disagreement, it has to be avoided. Because it's going to hurt people's feelings. God forbid we hurt people's feelings. That perspective is so essential. No one cares about your feelings in Israel. They're going to tell you exactly what they think, when they think it. With a smile on their face, and you know what? People, I've seen this.
I'll lean on my leg, it's better.
Do everything to try and murder each other, and then hug each other 5 minutes later, and become close friends. That only happens in Israel because people understand the conflict is essential. We have to, it's training. Before I started public speaking, I would be fighting and then I became a flight instructor, and public speaking does not come naturally to me. I started by stepping into the fire. The people who are telling kids to avoid conflict are the same people who are responsible for frustrating voters and not activists.
That's true.
As long as you're not being deliberately rude, as long as you're not being spiteful and trying to hurt people's feelings, and you're genuinely searching for the truth and protecting your identity and standing up for what you believe in, you should do it with your chest held high.
I told those remains that we're living in a very rural community where a lot of just language that doesn't go with the flow and shut down. They're immediately considered language extremism, like that, and it's hard to try to make waves here. And in many ways, like you're very optimistic about America, but it's a little scary when you're looking at that and paying attention. So, what is your recommendation? And maybe give us more optimism.
That's a really important point. Liberalism used to mean tolerance and acceptance and just being a bit free-flowing. That's turned into suicidal empathy and apology, which is worrying, I agree. And some people who are so far down the rabbit hole of apologizing for their existence, I'm talking about Jews here, There's a lot of Jews that spend their whole life apologizing for their existence,
Yeah.
and making them thinking that that will keep them safe, or that will stop Jew hatred somehow. People do not respect apologists. It doesn't matter whether you're Jewish. People respect formidability. People respect a person who stands by what they believe to be true, and they do so with conviction, which is difficult in communities which are terrified of anything like that, terrified of disagreement, terrified of because people are so afraid of conflict in the West, disagreement has become violence. And we saw with Charlie Kirk, whether you agree with him or disagree with him, people have celebrated his death.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
The first place was caused by the breakdown of communication. His work was encouraging people who disagreed with him to get on the microphone, not his echo chamber. He made sure that people disagreed with him got on the microphone. That's what was missing. When the talking stops, the violence ensues. We can't talk about our differences. Then we may as well just fall in line and be sheep. So, and it takes courage amongst those people just to stand out a little bit. So my advice to you, and to anyone in that sort of situation, is to, and you have to be really careful, you've got to kind of tread on eggshells, because any sort of formidability is seen as violence. But be firm. Be firm in your beliefs. Don't sigh and keep your head down. Be firm in your beliefs and say that, and if it comes up, say they're not going to love us for us doing this. We need to be proudly Jews. And yeah, it takes being firm sometimes.
Good advice.
So, thank you. When you talk about call to action, everything does feel really dire, but another way to look at it is what you just said, and what everyone in this room is saying is, it takes courage to fight, and fight is with words and standing up, and being scared and still pushing forward. So you have students that are willing now to start speaking up, that are putting things together, and us as parents or friends are getting behind them. So the call to action, I guess, has to be, we need to speak more. We need to be louder. Because the truth is, yeah, there's a lot of luxuries. And a lot of people work hard for whatever people consider is a luxury. That's not going anywhere, right? That's part of why we're considered or looked at so great. And we all have different ways of making money and having certain luxuries, and that's part of life. But we don't give up speaking our minds, right? And we don't give up putting who we are first, and we don't apologize for who we are. And that's the majority of the people in this room actually.
I'm like super zoomed in actually. See.
I've got
So that's why I was shaking.
a little girl that had a hand on her head and didn't really know what the
See.
prayer was. And maybe my mom didn't either, but it's such a beautiful tradition.
Yeah, because I'm zoomed all the way in. And I did have like a Red Bull.
So we keep going, right?
I totally agree. It takes courage to speak out. It takes courage to have pride. But we have to have the gratitude and the perspective for why it's significant in the first place to have that pride. But I think it starts with that, whether it's formidability in the physical sense or when it comes to dialogue and standing up verbally for our identity and our beliefs. However, and I think this is a very common misconception, and I think it's again born out of comfort. People think that
What's up, CTS?
the Jewish kids
Thank
don't
you.
know enough of the dates of what happened in 1940s, whatever, and they don't know
Philly.
who signed this declaration. I think all you need to know is one fact and be physically formidable, rather than knowing 1,000 facts and being uncomfortable in your own body. You can be the best intellectual. If you're faced with someone who just wants to see you swerve as a Jew and explain yourself, you're gonna swerve. Your knees are gonna shake, and they're going to intimidate you. All you need to know is, guess what? Jews are from Judea. I don't care what you think. Walk on or do something about it. I'm a Jew. That was not an intellectual answer. That was a courageous and proud answer. We don't need our kids to learn all of the facts. They need to remember one thing, that we are a nation We're not a religion. And people forget that. Ironically, I had the argument around the Seder table debate, around the Seder table 5 years ago or so, with my own family, some of which being from Egypt, about whether we're British Jews or that we're Jews living in Britain. And for me, all of this goes back to comfort. All of it goes back to comfort, and it breeds complacency and weakness. And it breeds people seeing disagreement and conflict as violence and something that we must avoid. When really, that's the lowest scale of conflict that is possible. And we need to be training ourselves in that way and constantly actually not seeking it out, but never avoiding it. I'm not going to say something this time. And whether you're formidable or not, your heart rate's going to raise. You're going to feel, your palms are going to get sweaty, you know? You have a duty to stand up. That's actually, like I said, I didn't have any importance or significance in my Jewish identity, or really know much about Israel before I left. And then I heard people, in fact, I had a friend who thought all Jews were rich.
Yeah.
They thought all Jews were rich. So, and I said to him, that's just not true. He said, what do you mean it's not true? I said, it's not true, it's just not true. And I went home and I've researched why people think that. And it's actually got deep-rooted historical, it's a historical thing when we were forced to be the money lenders by Christians and Muslims, because in Christianity and Islam, it's illegal for them to charge interest to their own people. So the Jews were the money lenders. That's where all Jews are rich comes from.
Not only that, also Jews couldn't do anything else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We were, for me, it was self-defense to be able to stand up in pride and say, no, that's not the truth. And it felt like self-defense to know why. For me, it's
That's the problem.
secondary to the fact we need to be formidable in order to be openly proud first.
I think that everything you're saying, everybody or the majority of people here agree. But I must say that, especially since October 7th, because before people wouldn't really talk about it, I found out that in our community, there are many Jews that they don't feel like they need to be courageous. They just deny even their Judaism. And they don't see even any connection between being Jews and supporting Israel or having the need of Israel. What do you do with all this majority? I don't know majority. What do you do with this very large number of people that feel this way, that for them being courageous, it doesn't mean anything. They look at me and they'll say, like, what are they talking about?
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, C. Chester.
I think it goes back to, my education. I spent most of my first 16 years on this planet in Jewish education, and I was left with very little gratitude and very little knowledge. And I think that's, if you don't know what you have to be grateful for, how can you feel like you need to be courageous or protect anything? If you don't have any, and then that goes the same for Westerners. If you don't understand how rare freedom and luxury and being able to order things and turn on climate control is, and how unlikely it is, then what is there to protect? What is there to be proud of, or to be grateful for, or to stand up for when people are trying to take it away from us? To answer your question, what do we do with these people? Is if we hang out with them, we'd be proud around them. You can't force these people. You can't
Exactly.
only lead a horse to water, right? So you could be proud as a Jew around them, and they can ask all the questions they want. And don't put them down for asking the questions. Keep leading them to the water. Whatever that water looks like to you.
Just to add, I think it's because they're so privileged that they can have that viewpoint, but without living in the luxury of the West. So,
Yeah, if they lived in a third world country, they'd be scrambling around looking for Jews to huddle up close to.
We had this conversation last night because Sammy was in fun as well on the school board. So he definitely had some snippets, and we discussed all fair enough, but yeah, so it's other than, and I said it's nuts, and he said, no, it's weakness. And so we had a bit of a back and forth about weakness versus ignorance.
It's definitely both. Definitely both. But I think it's before
I
it's,
like that.
before it's ignorance, it's apology. And like, please love me, sort of energy. Rather than I don't actually know what's going on. It's more, I'm too weak to stand up unapologetically for who I am and where I come from.
That's sad.
And that's why we're raising Bubbalas and not Matthews. It's because that's our so-called leadership. That's the extent. And that goes right to the top of diaspora leadership. And not just in America. So it's our responsibility to make this change from within. It's not, it doesn't help anyone for us to slander them or to talk badly about them or to reject them. What we should be doing is setting the example as individuals by doing the difficult work, which is introspection. We can, and this is seen across Western society. People love to claim victim. People love to be a victim.
Yeah.
No matter what it's about, whether it doesn't matter. I'm not going to get into any of that. But people love to be the victim because it's the easy route. And sympathy is like currency today. Where
Clout.
no one gets any recognition because we feel like we're so fulfilled by other people and other people's opinions of us because we're so obsessed with that we feel like that's going to complete us. We're not going to get any recognition through the difficult path of introspection and saying, am I doing what I need to be doing? Am I setting the example? Am I formidable enough? Am I openly proud enough? The easy route is always to say, help me, I'm a victim. So, and the Jews never prevailed in history by doing that. It was always and we gave the Romans the most trouble they ever had. The little old Jews gave the Roman Empire
Thank you,
the most
Chester.
trouble militarily that they ever had. And that's because we were never the victim. Any other questions?
Yeah, no, just a comment. You know, you talk about the complacent Jews, you talk about the apologists. And I think there's
That's true, Christopher Jordan.
maybe more detrimental. And those are the Jews that run away from the religion completely. The Jews that were born and raised Jewish because of where they live, what industry they go in, who they marry, don't want to acknowledge the Judaism. Some of them wake up in later life and realize that they can't hide from it, that people know that they're Jewish anyway. And some of them never get up.
That's me.
Voluntarily or because they feel the pressure to do so because of related issue. And I've seen that many times over the phone.
That's it. I've definitely seen the same. And that's a combination of many things. And not just the perspective or the education, but also the comfort and the weakness rather than the inability. It's difficult to be a strong and open Jew. It takes courage. It takes strength. It takes strength. Forgetting the Jewish part. It takes strength and courage to stand up for anything, especially today when people are, like I said, they're trying to avoid conflict, trying to avoid anything that's just not hunky-dory. So being Jewish is always a conversation you don't want to have, even if the people aren't hateful.
Yeah.
It's always a look on someone's face, at the very least, that you don't want to unpack in your own head, you know? So take the difficult route, because it's worth it. I'm going to reiterate the call to action and then tell you what I'm working on. The call to action is introspection and taking the difficult route, which is voluntary hardship. We live in societies where we don't have real hardship. We have hardship of our career and our education and our finances. And when I say that's not real hardship, I mean real hardship is in carrying water for 2 months.
I'm making it worse, but
Not having climate control and having to hunt for your own food. That's the sort of real hardship I'm on about. We don't have that. So we have to pay for memberships for rooms with lots of steel to create actual hardship. So always put yourself through voluntary hardship. I do an ice bath every morning. I try to meditate, which is really difficult, especially with someone with a mind that doesn't stop.
I get that.
It's essential. It's really essential because we're always in our life, we're stuck in the past or we're stuck in the future. We're never present, which is why Shabbat is such a beautiful thing, by the way. Try meditating.
It's always fake gravity.
And it's easy to beat yourself up on the fact that you can't focus. Stretching is one of the best examples. I live in chronic pain. I've got a back injury. I stretch multiple times a day.
That's true, Christopher
It's
Jordan.
immediate pain and discomfort, but it's immediate reward. So do things that make you uncomfortable, but it's not from the gym. But you don't get ouch, I bumped my head pain. You get growing pains after the gym. There's a difference. The same with the stress from work and finances. Builds your cortisol up, makes you unhealthy in every single way. Whereas voluntary stress, such as meditation, the cold and the hot and the gym, etc., counteracts the negative stress. I don't believe you can have a functioning, happy mind without a happy body. You can be, I really don't believe it's possible to even think rationally without having a somewhat healthy body. Because everything is hormones, we're just clumps of cells at the end of the day. So
That's true.
I'm building an organization called Peace Through Strength. And the goal is to build the culture around difficulty and hardship and gratitude to move forwards to self-defense on a grand scale. And that doesn't just mean training self-defense, that means standing in defense of your values and your morals like we've discussed today. But you can't have one without the other. Like I said, you can't have a sound mind without a strong body. So we need to start working on the foundations of that. So I with my platform and with this organization, I plan on making self-defense appealing and accessible to everyone.
Yeah.
And we need to start yesterday because the men of the jihadis and all of the enemies of our values and our morals, they know they're wrong. It doesn't seem today that our men or our women understand what significant and special roles we play, not just in our families, but in our societies. And all of that accounts to self-defense. So, with this organization, I hope to reverse slowly but surely the bubblers and turn them back into Maccabees. Because all it takes is a mirror and introspection to realize I'm not doing everything I can to make myself formidable and strong and courageous and to stand proudly in my own body, let alone as a Jew. So that's the plan. Thank you.
Does anyone have any other questions? I think Lisa had a question about building your social media platform.
I would like to know.
I forgot to bring the question. I was interested. Yeah, you were interested in
How we can find out more information.
about how you built your social media.
About my social media or organization?
Well, thank you. I was interested in like how you went from the ground up to build your social media platform.
I did crazy stuff. Pretty much. The social, I never had any idea of how to do it. It wasn't planned. This was not. I used to work in construction and real estate. I also used to teach Krav Maga and self-defense and volunteer doing security for the Jewish community in the UK. After the war, I thought, still not doing enough. So the first video I made was going to one of these anti-Israel marches and interviewing protesters. And that gave me a following pretty quickly. I thought, I was pretty naive still at the time. I thought I could change people's minds and maybe have discourse and maybe one of them will go home and they'll think, oh, the Jews aren't that bad. I realized what was coming from my content was actually empowerment rather than trying to change people's minds or change the world one person at a time. It was empowerment, so I leaned into that. I started doing more crazy shit, and And it wasn't for clicks, but it was to make people more empowered and feel courageous and maybe motivate them to do the same. And it did. And in a time where the Jewish people really needed a bit of courage and bravery, and I think that's why my platform grew naturally. It evolved into other things somewhat naturally. But honestly, there's no magic formula. I didn't know. I don't do like infographics or any of these things. I kind of just for the last 2 years almost now, I've just been doing what I feel necessary. The only thing I've ever been really certain of doing is fighting. When I was 16, I wanted to be a fighter, and then I wanted to join the IDF, and I got a serious injury. But this is my role. This is my fight. So I just every day, if I thought of something, I'd write it down, and I would translate that into how I.
Don't make it trigger. Didn't sound like it. Comments.
There's things you shouldn't say sometimes.
Kick rack and lick racks.
But there's no real answer as to how I've grown my platform. I'm happy to speak with you outside of the little intricacies of Instagram, which I learned on the job.
It sounds like a lot of human interest.
It is. That's the main thing. That's the main thing.
All right.
Content.
Thank you so much. I think if there are any other questions, then we'll just cover them in the formal mail. But thank you so much.
Thank you.
That was pretty cool. I'm gonna try to talk to him. See what happens.
Not yet.
Let's just go online, Sammy Yahood. I just Googled it.